This is one of those stories that infuriates me on the behalf of the main person that we're covering in today's video. Because this whole story is just a reminder of how stupid some people can be and how sad and pathetic others can be just for a tiny bit of attention on the internet. Well, this is by far the most requested story that you guys submitted here this week. This whole video revolves around the TikTok user by name of Ashley Elliott, who is known as the Gel Lady due to her making a bunch of content around hair gel, and she even sells her own hair gel brand. But this story has very little to do with hair gel and a lot to do with an unfortunate relationship and someone who involves themselves simply because they want attention. And this story starts off with the Gel Lady making this video.
So I have been working since I was 16 years old, and let me tell you the reason why I will never stop. Let me tell you what one of my biggest fears is. Just imagine this. Imagine it, okay? You find a man, he's amazing, he's making great money, and he wants to take care of you for the rest of your life. And you decide, cool, I just get to be home, raise the kids. He's going to be the hardworking man he is, and he's going to take care of us. Now, imagine 20 years later, he finds somebody else that's younger, more beautiful, and he leaves you. And you don't have a job. You don't have any ways to financially support yourself. You no longer have your youth, and now you're alone. That would be one of my biggest fears. And I know some of y'all are married to some great men, okay? But I wouldn't put nothing past nobody. Somebody might tell you today, hey, I love you, I love you. I would never, ever, ever, ever do that to you. But in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, people change. And that's the reason I will never stop working for my own money.
Now, you may be able to guess how the internet reacted to a massive influencer with like 15 million followers alluding to the fact that her husband left her for a younger woman. They went absolutely crazy, and that kind of forced her to address it again.
You guys, this is not my situation right now. I was just telling you the reason I will always work and why I would teach my daughter not to depend on a man financially. This has nothing to do with me. I literally brought up a scenario saying if you were married to a man for 20 years, you've never had a job, you've never had any skill sets because you thought he would take care of you for the rest of your life. And imagine if he left you for somebody else. It was a scenario. It's a scenario that has scared me since I was a girl. So I've been working since I was 16 years old. I worked at Burger King. I joined the Army. I started a business. I make money on social media. Like, I am very, very, very financially stable. And so this would just never be a scenario that would fit me. And that was intentional for me. So that's all the video was about, is I was just like, imagine if this was to happen and how horrible that would be if you've never had a job because you depended on a man. And I was trying to say, people change. No matter how great you think somebody is, people change. So no, this has nothing to do with me and my husband.
Okay, so now it's just a hypothetical situation, or is it? Because in the next video, she confirms that she removed her ring and doesn't want to talk about it.
All the videos of my husband have been removed from all of my platforms. And I understand that this raised a lot of concerns, especially because a lot of you guys follow us for our couples content. But I did start this channel by myself in 2020. I've always loved being on social media, and he did not. Over time, I talked him into being on my social media, and we saw how well the videos did of us together. So we just continued, but it was something that I was most definitely much more passionate about. But he no longer wants this lifestyle. He doesn't want to be recognized every single time he goes out in public. Quote unquote fame is not what everybody wants. We no longer have any kind of privacy, but that just comes with the territory of being a social media influencer, and I'm okay with that. He is not. I hope you guys can understand. I know it's going to be hard because a lot of you follow us for our couples content, but I will continue to make content just like I did when I first started. And as far as the ring, you guys have noticed it's been off my finger for a couple weeks now, and that's just something that I want to keep private right now.
And that was all fine until the most random person who's the definition of the tool that farmers use to shape soil decided to throw herself into this situation. And she did this because apparently she's an S worker, and the husband of the gel lady started talking to her for some reason. So this woman is using that as her moment to finally get a drop of attention.
I don't have a lot of time to say what I want to say because I am currently evacuating for a hurricane, but I do want to kind of touch on it.
That's actually hilarious. Getting some basic level attention is way more important to her than actually evacuating her family for a hurricane. Some people's priorities are absolutely messed up.
First, I want to say that I am not blasting this girl's business. She is quite literally blasting herself. And I'm not coming for her for crying on the internet because honestly, who hasn't? Because I sure as hell have. Being a mom is quite hard sometimes, but it's also the biggest blessing of your life. And I'm not about to see this girl do it all alone over something that she thinks is bigger than what it is. That's my opinion. I don't know what else is going on in their home. I don't know what side of the story he gave her, what he has said or not. And if she doesn't want to reach out, that's fine. I'm not the kind of woman that says, don't come at me as a woman. If you have a question, feel free to ask, and I will decide if I want to answer or not. Now, while the first time she came at me was not crazy and I did respect it, I did get a little when I started seeing things like, I'm going to raise my daughter to be da-da-da-da, when all I have is daughters.
I feel like this is exactly what main character syndrome is, because the jail lady hasn't mentioned her at all. But because she made a video of how she would raise her daughters, she chose to take offense to that and is, in return, airing out her dirty laundry to the public. To me, it sounds a lot more like an unresolved internal issue rather than the jail lady coming for this random woman that no one's heard of.
And I posted that video because when she gave that scenario of a man taking care of his family and then leaving, it was very relatable for me. My man didn't leave me, but he does take care of his family. Hey, Mama. First of all, I want to make it very clear we did not meet up in person. Second of all, even though there was communication, I think there was a reason. I don't feel like this man is heard, and now I feel like he's being slightly bashed on the internet. And she might not be wrong for this. She might have a whole different image of what's going on. I'm not saying what he did is right. Everybody has different morals, but in my eyes, I saw it as something else that she probably doesn't see it as. What I saw was a man who was not heard, and he wanted to be heard and understood. He did mention multiple times that he did try to communicate these things, but obviously they weren't heard if I see that it's still going on. He didn't have to say that. There was also many comments that would say the things that he was feeling because it was just very obvious.
All right, men, I'm talking to you now. Don't ever use OF girls as therapists, because clearly there is no therapist-patient privilege here whatsoever. And let's be real, OF girls probably cost more, and you have the chance of having all of your dirty laundry aired out for the entire world to hear. Why, you may ask? Well, I guess for some basic level attention. Because my entire reaction to this video is, who asked? Why are you doing this? The gel lady didn't want to address this. And now this leech is inserting herself into the situation, airing out all the dirty laundry of the couple and defending the husband in a way, which isn't defending him, by the way, because like she's just making him seem like an absolute clown. So congratulations to this woman for making a video that's just a net negative to society.
And while it did make the content good for y'all, if it feels emotionally or mentally exhausting for somebody, I would try to hear that out, because that might lead to other things that you don't want. After hearing this video, would it be worth twirling your whole family if he never did what you felt like in that scenario, leaving or cheating on you?
Again, who asked? Why is she making this video?
My opinion, if he was lacking in other areas of the home and didn't want to make content, okay, then what the hell? But if he is there for the children, if he is there for you, then if this is something you find enjoyable, and even if it's not enjoyable for you, but if it's something you're good at, I understand he's your partner. But notice how my house is getting trashed right behind me in less than 3 minutes. I do wish their family well. It's hurricane season. I want her to know her man loves her. He made that very known.
Doesn't sound like it. He used an OF girl as a therapist when he's married. Clearly, the wife didn't know about it, so this is essentially him just lighting the entire relationship on fire. You don't really need to be a rocket scientist to figure out, hey, if you can pay extra money to see your therapist naked, there's a massive problem there. But unfortunately for everyone, she made a second video to clarify things.
My name is Shayla, and I'm in the industry, and it is quite literally my job to answer random unknown men. This particular interaction was a little different because it wasn't to fulfill a fantasy, it was more of a therapy session. They made it very clear how much they loved their wife, and eventually it came to light who they were because they told me who their wife was.
What an idiot, but I kind of want to know what his reaction was to see his OF therapist airing out all of his clownery for the entire internet to hear.
Which I had been following her for 2, maybe more years. Shortly after his wife found out, she did message me, but I chose not to answer because 1, this is not the first time that a wife has been mad, and I understand because of my job. And 2, I know you say things out of anger or being hurt. The only reason I decided to even reply to any of the chaos, I felt like I was being low-key bullied. The first thing I noticed is she mentioned multiple times that we should be the women that we would want our daughter to be. I have daughters, and she has a daughter too, but she never mentioned anything how to raise her son.
Again, this sounds like her choosing to take offense here. Like, no one would have ever known of this woman if she didn't just out herself out as being the homewrecker, because she inserted herself into this situation here.
Me and my man have an open relationship, which that came up in conversation with her husband when he was messaging me. So she would post things like this asking about basically open relationships. I just recently dyed my hair, but I did have black hair. So on the 20th, she said, change my hair, make him feel like he cheating. And now all of a sudden, everybody in the comments is saying something about my butt because I got a BBL. It might have something to do with the fact that 3 days ago, she said, it ain't perfect, but it's natural. That is the only reason I made a response. I am not saying that it was right.
Damn, girl, are you a YMCA member with all these gymnastics you're doing here? She should have just been honest and said, hey, this is the most exciting thing that's ever happened in my life, and I just couldn't not insert myself here.
For everybody assuming that I chased after a married man, like I said, I did not know who they were at first. I do have my own man, and everybody seems to think that they put 2 and 2 together, that I left him and our children. Or that he left us, which neither is true. We are still a happy family. But now that this is going viral, I've been getting threats and very mean comments. And now everybody talking about me for going after somebody's man, now they're going after my man. And these women that are saying they don't claim me as one of their own, saying that I have disgusting behavior, but are coming at me with threats and some of the nastiest comments or name calling.
She literally brought this on herself, but clearly, like, she loves this because she followed up that TikTok with this.
Oh my goodness, I love this question.
And remember, the gel lady, she didn't want to address this, but with all of that we just saw, she was kind of forced to.
I had every intention of keeping the details of my marriage private. Yes, I did hint to you guys that I wasn't okay and my marriage wasn't okay. Did I share any details? No. And the reason I even let you guys in just a little bit was to show that I'm real with real problems. The last thing I want to be is a content creator who only shows all the perfect moments, because that's not real. And I wanted people to know if they're going through something, they're not alone. Now, with all that being said, there are a few things I would like to address. And then after that, you guys, I need to protect my peace and log off. Number 1, you guys will never catch me bashing my family on the internet. And whether my husband is my husband or my ex-husband, he is my family. Number 2, I have never in my life bullied or targeted somebody on social media. I did not make one post about this person. And majority of these posts that I made were before I even knew she existed. I had no idea that she had a BBL. I thought she looked natural. Good job. Your BBL looks very natural. Did I put on a black wig because of this person? No. Did I make posts about my daughter because of this person? No. Before I even knew she existed, I made a post on my Facebook that said, Be the woman you'd want your daughter to be. And that was before I even knew she existed. I said that because I was going through something internally, and I thought to myself, how would I want my daughter to handle this as a woman?
Yeah, this is just a sad situation. Remember I said earlier, this video is sadly just going to be a reminder that some people just suck. Because the only winner of this situation is the leech, because she got her tiny bit of attention, if you call that a win.
And that brings me comfort, because it helps me make a decision based off of how I would want my daughter to feel and how I'd want her to be treated. Now, when I found out about this person, I blocked her on social media. So the fact that she has been able to still screenshot all my stuff is very concerning to me. And the reason I blocked her was to protect my peace. I did not want to see anything she had going on. I didn't know if she had daughters, sons. I didn't know anything about her. And the last thing I want to address is this narrative that I forced my husband to make videos. I know that we've always had that role where he was annoyed and I was the one who enjoyed the videos. And that was agreed upon. Social media is bringing us in $20,000 a month. And that's aside from the business. And I've never put the numbers out there like that, but I need you guys to know that this provides for our family. This has made us debt free. This has made us financially free. I have never forced anybody to be in a video with me. And he even offered to continue making videos with me, even if we're no longer together. And I respectfully declined. So am I this evil person that forced her husband into doing something he didn't want to do? No.
Yeah, I just feel bad for the gel lady. Like, obviously, I don't know how the inner workings of their relationship is, as it should be, I guess, other than what this guy's therapist has shared. But she does close out this video taking the higher road.
I have nothing against her. I'm irritated that I'm being lied on. I have nothing against her. None of this is her fault. What's going on in my life and in my marriage is not her fault. This is something me and my husband need to figure out. And I wanted so badly to keep so much of this information private, but I wasn't given that opportunity. But that's the life I chose, I guess. I love you guys, and for now, I need to log off.
And since then, she's been posting videos talking about how she's currently feeling and her current healing process. And then out of nowhere, her husband decided to respond to all this publicly.
It's one thing to go on social media and tell them about your private life, especially when your partner done told you over and over about that. But it's another thing to tell me one thing, but let social media believe it's another thing.
Dude's had like 3 weeks to come up with something, and that's what he came up with. Well, he did also upload another video.
I don't care for it. So I was going to be quiet about the whole situation. You know, I was going to be the bad guy. But I'm not about to let a person who used me for their success, the whole marriage, run my name through the mud.
Dude, your therapist ran your name through the mud. But then he hasn't responded anymore, so I guess he's just leaving it at that. I don't know. Very sad, very confusing.